This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. This is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, worldwide, toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and of course our website where you can listen to past shows, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Alexandra Lane, and she is the author of A Vision of Angels. Now, there are times when extraordinary things happen in our lives that defy logic. Well, reasoning and or medical explanation sometimes just make no sense. Things that should not happen, happen. For example, when a person survives an auto accident that should have robbed them of their existence here on Earth, or an individual that is completely healed of a terminal disease before any medical treatment has been given. Now, over the years, X-Zone Nation, you know for a fact that we have had people from all over the world, all walks of life, all believers in different religious philosophies, who all talk about angels, guardian angels, angels that have protected them, that have guided them. I believe in angels. I really do. I don't believe in UFOs. I don't believe in Bigfoot, but you know what? I believe in angels. A Vision of Angels is a powerful story of redemption and hope, and how luck has no place in the presence of miracles. The story crosses the boundaries of everyday real world and takes the reader on a look at a very different world, a place that will dismantle logic and dispel human understanding, a place that is also the home of an infinite host of spiritual beings known to us as angels. Joining me now is Alexandra Lane. She is the author of A Vision of Angels. And Alexandra, welcome to the X-Zone.
Thank you, Rob. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great talking to you. As I said, I believe in angels. I believe I have seen an angel. And I'd just like to share with you and the listening audience, my brother, who is younger than I am, this is going back several years. At the time, they had just introduced baby food into cans. And at the time, they did not have that protective sealant that all cans have now. And my mother opened up the can of baby food and, well, to make a long story short, my brother contacted ptomaine, and my brother had ptomaine poisoning. He was rushed to the hospital. Everybody gathered at my grandmother's house expecting the worst. And they were just waiting for the phone call. But I looked at, and I saw this person who was in the kitchen. All my aunts and my uncles were there, and this man is just looking at me, and he had a smile on his face. He was there was a warmth, there was a glow, there was a feeling of safety and comfort. And my grandmother looked at me and said, "What are you looking at?" And I said, "That man over there." And when I pointed back to where that man was standing seconds before, there was no one there. At that very moment, the phone rang. It was my mother from the hospital saying that my brother was going to be all right. Ever since that moment, and I must have been 5 or 6 years old, I believe in angels.
Wow, what an incredible story. And I hear so many stories like that, Rob, from people, from television, from just friends, of people saying that someone appeared in their life at a time where devastation or when they were in a bad accident, and then they never saw the person, or the people that showed up to help at the accident never saw the person leave, never saw anyone standing there with them. I hear so many stories like this, incredible stories, wonderful stories.
Your book, A Vision of Angels, what was your inspiration for writing this book?
Basically, Rob, I was sitting down one day watching TV. There was a gentleman on the television, and he was paragliding. His paraglider malfunctioned, and he came plummeting down to earth and hit the ground. Now, our laws of physics will tell us that if we fall from a very high height, we're either going to, enter into an untimely demise, or we're going to break every bone in our body. But this man was able to get up and walk away from this incident and go on the talk show and tell everybody that he lived, which was wonderful. But then he turned around and said, I was so lucky. I said, wow. So I was thinking, is that really luck? Or is that some type of divine intervention?
All right, we're going to have a bit of a cliffhanger here because I have to take a 2-minute commercial break. Exo Nation, A Vision of Angels by Alexandra Lane is the topic this hour here in the X Zone. And her website is alexandralane.tateauthor.com. And Alexandra and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break in 2 minutes talking about angels here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, a guiding light spelled LITE.com to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Welcome back, everyone. Alexandra Lane is my special guest, and we're talking about angels this hour here on the X Zone. And as many of you know who have been following this show for the past 22 years, I believe in angels. The name of her book is A Vision of Angels, and her website is www.alexandralane.tateauthor.com. I'm sorry we had to cut you off there, but we had to take our commercial break. We were talking about this, the inspiration for your book, where you watched this paraglider fall. He should have either ended his life a little earlier than he anticipated, or should have been smashed up, but he wasn't. And this started you on your quest.
Yes, it did. Because I, like you, Rob, I truly do believe in angels. And when something incredible, or shall I say miraculous, happens, you just can't chalk it up to luck. But you got to kind of look at what else is going on. So I wanted to sit down and write a book that showed what angels look like working in the background for us every day. I wanted to write a story that showed when people are on a journey, things happen in life, and angels are just making things happen. Sometimes we don't see when they're making things happen, and sometimes we do see, like you did with your brother.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't see. So I wanted to show what it kind of looks like behind the scenes, and sometimes when it's right there in your face. And that's what I wanted people to kind of know. Instead of saying, I was so lucky, recognize where that's coming from.
Let me ask you this. Why do you, Alexandra Lane, believe in angels?
Let me kind of tell you about a story that happened to me when I was a little girl, maybe around 9 or 10. We went out to the lake, and we were getting ready to have a great big family picnic. There were several families there. Everybody was setting up tables, getting the barbecue pits ready. Us kids, we went out into the lake, and we were just playing around into the lake. And I happened to look to my left, and then I saw this little girl out there, and she was flailing. Her arms were flailing about as though she was in trouble. She had a look of fear all over her face, and I could see that she was in trouble, and she couldn't swim. And by the way, neither can I.
Wow.
So I looked to shore. I looked to shore, and I saw that all the adults were occupied with getting the picnic and the barbecue grills and everything going, and they didn't see her. There was no time for me to go and say, hey, she needs help, because she was going under. So basically, I go over and I stretch my hand to her, but because she's so panicked, she starts to pull me out to her and kind of pull me under a little bit. So, of course, now I'm afraid. Our hands, of course, disconnect, and I still see her out there fighting. Now, keep in mind, I'm a little girl myself, so I'm afraid because I don't know how to swim, and she made me even more afraid when she pulled me out further. So basically, something would not let me quit on this little girl, would not let me walk away from her. So I stretched my hand out there again and said, God, please. And with everything I had in me, I just grabbed her fingers and I just pulled as hard as I could. Now, I got her in. Nothing happened with her, but I know that wasn't me. It wasn't just me pulling her in because I'm a child myself and I can't swim, and I was in grip with everything on the in the lake, but it wasn't her time to go. So I was the vehicle that was being used to bring her in. And that was my journey. That was my start into believing there is something more going on here, and that's where the angels start coming into play.
Tell me about your book.
Okay. My book is about Max and Minty. Now, first of all, the story is a work of fiction. And the two main characters in the book, the things that happen to them, is also a work of fiction. But there are some things in the book that are based off of true events. And the reader is going to be pleasantly surprised with what will be revealed to them when they read the book. But it's about